Alright, so we have the A15 Pilot Watch from Bulova, which is inspired by the 1944 military issue, the Elapsed Time Watch. And this reincarnation homages that particular watch, incorporating the unique features of the original. And one of those cool unique features is this right here. Look at this. You've got that dual rotating inner bezel. It's actually two inner discs that rotate by the crowns here. So you get three crowns on this particular watch. And you've got, they call it a 2H crown, which does the elapsed time. So this would be the elapsed time up here. So what that would mean is, and let me just get here. You see that minute hand right there? You just set the triangle to that, and wherever this goes, you'll be able to count however many minutes have elapsed. And then the 4H crown, which is the bottom crown, that indicates the dual time. So for instance, we could actually track another time zone with this. So essentially it's a GMT, and I've actually used it as a GMT as well. So for instance, I know that in the UK, they are 5 hours ahead. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So we look at the hour hand and we set the 2 right there at the 9 o'clock. Set it and forget it, and we will be able to track a second time zone. So very, very useful features of this watch. I've actually timed dishes when I was cooking by setting these as well. So a very practical watch, guys. Now, the impractical part is is the biggest disappointment of this watch, and that's the fact that these crowns move way too easily. So during the day, as you move your arm around, you look down and you find out that your numbers are misaligned, and that's a huge problem that I think Bulova could have addressed very easily by doing a screw down crown, or just making these a little bit tighter, because these just move around way too easily. It's kind of like that bezel on a watch where if you just swipe it, it just moves, and it's just not good. It's not safe. It's not practical. And that's how I feel about this one. That's the biggest letdown of this watch, is that particular aspect. Besides that though, guys, there's a lot of things to like about this watch, including, and I'm just going to skip around here, look at the finishing of this watch. I mean, this is one of the best finished watches that I have at this price point. Bulova did an amazing job on the finishing of this watch. It actually looks very premium, and I think they just did a really fantastic job on the finishing. I mean, that brushwork is superb. The back is definitely a scratch magnet, but it looks very, vintage inspired. Not usually a big fan of screws, but because this is an automatic and there's no reason to get back there, typically, I don't have a problem with it. If this was a quartz, I would give this a much harder time. And as you notice, we actually get not just a sapphire crystal, but we actually get a AR-coated sapphire crystal. Not only just that, but we actually get a double-domed. Yes, double-domed without the distortion, but you do, as you can see, it does have that anti-reflective coating. So you're getting a lot of... That's my dog in the background snoring. My apologies. But you do get some of these premium features here, guys, with this watch. I mean, Bulova really, kind of pulled out all the stops here on this one. And they also tried charging you out the wazoo for that. Now you can get these for a very reasonable price. If we take a look at the dial, it is a very busy dial, but I think they did a great job with it. If we just line all these up for a second here, I mean, just the dial itself, I think the way they laid it out is actually, it makes a lot of sense. You even get that 24-hour in this, middle there, done in yellow. Bulova is done in that vintage-like font, and so is the numerals. The Arabic numerals are all done in that kind of like that older style. But this is truly a pilot's watch. Really goes off that 1944 heritage line. And just to think about how old that is, I'm going to just briefly flash a picture up of someone who was actually 1 year old at the time when the original was released. So that one's for you, Joey Bible. So when we look at the dimensions of this watch, we're looking at a 42mm without the crowns. If we include the crowns, that'll be an interesting one. Let's take a look and see. So with the crown, you're looking at about a 45mm. Without it, it should be right around a 42. And when it comes to case thickness, it's not too thick. It's right at a 14.3mm. And our lug to lug is actually very respectable at a 51 lug to lug. You do get a 20mm lug width, and that's another positive thing about this watch besides just the measurement, but the fact that this leather comes absolutely pliable, soft, feels really good, looks vintage, feels high-end. One of the best leather straps that I have seen from a watch company out of the box. Much better even than Hamilton's, and I've owned quite a few Hamiltons. Bulova really knocked this one out of the park. Very, very nice job. And even the buckle, I don't typically like this style buckle, but I'm going to give them a pass because they did a nice job on the Bulova logo there, but it is genuine leather. When we take a look at the movement, it is a Miyota movement. It's actually a 42-hour power reserve. It's the Miyota 82S6, and it is a 21 joule movement. The other thing I have to say is I love the case that they give you with this. This is actually a travel case, and man, I mean, I wish more companies did that. Bulova did an excellent job with this. It actually feels like suede. Excellent job, Bulova. Bulova actually engraved in there as well. Again, my dog's snoring. He's actually spending some time with me today in the office, so we're doing some male bonding. All right, so this is also a 30-meter water-resistant case. So a lot of you guys might say, well, it's not a lot of water resistance, and yeah, you're right, but you're going to keep it on this leather, let's be honest, right? And if you're looking at a true pilot's watch, what's a pilot doing in the water, right? You don't have that expectation of being in water, and if you are in water, you're probably not alive. So water resistance is not a problem for me, guys. You can wash your hands with this and be out in the rain and not worry about it. I would worry more about the leather than I would the watch. So 30 meters is perfectly fine. So I'd love to hear your guys' opinion down below of this watch. For me, I love it. I think it's an awesome vintage inspired watch. I mean, even look at the handset. Look at that teardrop on the hour hand. It's, you know, they really did a really nice job recreating this. I'm going to show you guys actually how it runs on the time graph. All right, so the Miyota movement is actually beating at 21,600 beats per hour. And we're looking at anywhere from 0 to +4 seconds a day, 301 degrees of amplitude, and a beat error of 0.2 milliseconds. So very respectable specs on this particular piece. And check that out. All right, so let's do a loom shot. And as you see, the Bulova actually has very respectable loom. Wasn't expecting much because I've owned multiple Bulovas, and Bulova is just not known for their loom. Just like Citizen, they're owned by the same company, and you know, they don't typically put out good loom. So I see a very valiant effort by Bulova here and it's got very respectable loom, much better than I expected. It's definitely not diver standard, it's not micro brand standard, but you know, at the end of the day, I think you guys will be surprised by it. So at the end of the day, guys, you're getting a really valiant effort on Bulova's part to provide you with some really good upgrades on things that they don't typically give you upgrades on. You're getting sapphire crystal as opposed to the typical mineral. You're getting AR coating, which you don't typically get on a Bulova. You're getting brushing, okay, that really is it hits below the brushing actually hits above its weight. It's really done well. And this leather strap, another huge upgrade. I mean, as I said, this is actually better than what you'll get from Hamilton. The movement, I think that's probably the other downfall, even though this movement's producing well. I mean, as you saw, anywhere from 0 to +4 with really good amplitude and low beat rate error. I think, you know, if Bulova put a better movement in here, even if they maybe made this part of their AccuSwiss line, you know, maybe this could have fetched even a little bit more than what they were asking. But originally, this watch was fetching, or at least they were asking, well over 700. Now you can get these for anywhere between 300 to 400. So I think the Miyota definitely hurt them in regards to that price, because I think they were really putting themselves well out of their price range for that. So I don't think they were selling as good, which is why you see them at a much lower rate or lower price. But I could be wrong on that. But it's just, to me, it's a little fishy that the price has dropped in such a short period of time. But that's just my 2 cents, guys. You can keep the change, and always remember that there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time on Average Joe Watch Reviews. God bless, my friends.